Talkin' Money.
Well, alrighty then. We're back to Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
That's my name, dude. How are you doing? We did get a winner to our quiz question, which is so I'm guessing it wasn't the United States.
That is correct. We are only at 1,028 cigarettes smoked per capita.
Okay. Still sounds like a lot.
That is.
Okay.
It makes me want to throw up. So, yes, the answer is Russia, the world's second largest cigarette market after China. And the article really talks about they're going to implement some anti-smoking rules.
Why?
Apparently, it's not good for their health.
Who says that?
I don't know. But, they said it's going to be a harsh measure, but it's absolutely necessary because of the amount of cigarettes that are smoked.
Per person there. Wow.
Yeah.
And what was their number? How many per capita?
2,786.
That's like 2.5 times what we do. Wow.
Like I said, that makes my stomach turn.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the donut that's making my stomach turn. I'm not sure.
I think it was the run across the street that made you. Speaking of medical news, because that's in the medical field, this should get you maybe asking yourself what's going on here. So isn't it curious that we are about ready to turn over to government health care, where the government's going to take care of all our health issues? And now this comes out. Interesting. Makes you think, makes you go,
Things that make you go,
There's a new article out now. Have you ever heard this? This article suggests that maybe it's just too expensive and unnecessary to get a physical and a doctor's checkup.
Wow.
The value of medical checkups is being doubted. A new survey coming out, this is both a joint UK and US study, says that the typical annual physicals don't affect the rates of death and disease and may just be too expensive and too unnecessary to conduct a physical.
I mean, are we talking like locker room, pre-sports, turn your head type, cough kind of thing?
I think we're talking about like go to your doctor once a year and have him
take blood, do this and that.
Yeah, look in your ears and stuff. So now that
you need to do that.
I know, I need to do that every day. But now I just think that the timing is interesting. That now that we're ready to switch over to Obamacare, and potentially the government could be on the hook for some medical care costs, that all of a sudden it's not that necessary to get checked out.
That is interesting.
I'm not going to leave any more than that. I just thought that was interesting to bring up in light of our smoking. So maybe you should just take up more smoking and not see your doctor and eat donuts like we do in the morning. There you go. This is
there's your health facts.
There's your health. Yes, health news for you. Now the rest of this is mortgage related, and some of this is going to irritate you, or should. So if you will recall, was it this year? I'm losing track already. This year or last year? March? It was March of this year. 49 states reached a $25 billion settlement with 5 of the nation's largest mortgage companies for basically the foreclosure. You're not doing business right, and you are screwing all the homeowners, and you ruined everything. And so we're going to make you pay $25 billion. You recall? Is this ringing a bell to you? Okay. So
this also makes my stomach turn.
Okay. California got the largest of the settlement. California got $410 million. That money has been paid, according to this article. And where did that money go?
Where's that money? Did it go against the deficit? Did that go into the general fund?
This was a settlement for homeowners. This was to compensate people who were either foreclosed on improperly, quote unquote, or suffered some sort of a loss. How many of you, okay, raise your hands, Bueller, how many of you have received your check in the mail? I'll wait for your answer.
Hands, anybody?
Nobody? Okay. In California, the answer is nobody. Governor Brown has elected to take all $410 million and pay out existing state obligations with the money. All $410 million has now gone into the general fund, and those of you who were crying in your drink that you lost your home or you're rooted out of your house improperly and you've been wronged are not going to get a damn dime.
So the lawsuit is to help me, and the money came in, and I'm not getting any of it?
You're getting nothing in the state of California.
Thank you.
Florida has undecided what they're going to do. Texas is undecided. New York has taken about 2/3 of their money and put it toward housing-related activities or Illinois has done a little bit. Georgia's kept all the money. Arizona's done about 50-50. Michigan's almost put all their money towards housing activity. Ohio's every penny has gone to housing activity, and New Jersey has kept all the funds themselves. So, what do you think about that, homeowner, Mr. Homeowner who lost their house, and whether you were really wronged? I mean, they really did something that was wrong, or you think you were wronged, or you feel like you were wronged. There is no money for you, and I contend there never ever was going to be any money. Now, the article says that Kamala Harris, who is the state attorney general, was very adamant that the funds should go toward counseling and legal aid for distressed homeowners, and she was overruled. But they're both Democrats, so they can fight amongst themselves. But if that doesn't irritate you to no end, and I've always said all along, there was two halves of this deal, because I think it was a $50 billion settlement. So 25 was actually in cash, or you had to pay out, and 25 you had to keep. The banks were going to keep and do their own sort of modifications, homeowner help. So in theory, half the money went to the people that already lost their houses because there's nothing to help them with anymore. They're gone. The other half of the money was to help keep people in their houses that were already there. So if you were going to do a short sale, they could say, okay, we're going to allocate some funds to John's short sale. We'll take it out of that fund and allow him to do that, or a modification or whatever. And the other part, and I think we mentioned this a couple weeks ago, who's monitoring that half? Nobody. So the state of California got their $410 million. Theoretically, we as the state should be saying, hey, wait a minute, we got $410 million in cash, and you still owe us $410 million in some sort of subsidy to everybody out there who's in their homes and needs some help. But the state took the $410 million, put it in their pocket, and nobody, and I guarantee you, nobody is overseeing, from the state, is overseeing to make sure the money is going, the other half of that money is being implemented properly. They're just relying on the banks to say, yeah, we're doing it. And they might be, but we don't know. And frankly, we don't give a damn. We got our $410 million, we put it in the bank. We're going to use that to kind of soften our budget this year for other things that we're doing that aren't housing related. And off we go.
Maybe we should just start another suit.
Well, we will.
Sure.
We will continue suing on, the suits aren't over yet. These are just going and going. This was just one of them that's going on. And now you could make, and I'm, in all fairness, you could make some contention that the state, actually probably maybe more the local governments, are entitled to some of that money. Because what has happened is that by having all these houses go into foreclosure and having the values of things decline down, our tax revenue based on property values has gone down. And so your cities and counties have really been hurt, because the house that I had that used to be assessed at $350, now assessed at $175 or something. So they've lost a lot of money. But I didn't say in my article there, I didn't say the state of California took $410,000. It gave Sacramento County $2 million and Roseville, $1 million. And no, they just put it in their pocket and said thanks, and none of it went to you. And if that doesn't drive you absolutely crazy,
something's wrong with this picture.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. If you,
it shouldn't be allowed. Period. How can
well in the state of Arizona, actually some of the people in their own government sued themselves and sued their own governor and said, hey, you cannot confiscate this money and put it in your own pocket, theoretically in the state's pocket. This has to go to some other use what we got it for. I mean, if any of us tried that, if we were an attorney or a settlement agent and the money came in for a specific purpose and we directed it somewhere else, we would be in jail. So anyway, you got screwed twice.
Yes.
How's that feel? Welcome to the homeowner business, or the former homeowner business. And I saw anybody seen all the boomerang terms this week? I saw it a couple times. I thought it was this is going to be the new term for people that are coming back in the market, a boomerang buyer, someone who was out of the market for some period of time, either by foreclosure or short sale, and back in the market. And I did catch some news this week that people were questioning whether we should allow, there should be a market for you to come back in the market if you lost your house. Whether you let it go, whether you lost your job and lost it, whether you short sold it, there's a contingent of people who say you shouldn't get to buy again. And
that'll help the housing market.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, there's not a lot of stuff to buy, but someday in the future, they'll pick back up again too.
Mm-hmm.
But the boomerang people are coming back, and just so the rest of you have a working knowledge, as a general rule, the minimum period of time you have to wait is 3 years. Now, the FHA program says it'll take you back a little sooner in 2. And sometimes if you can prove that you weren't not some other things that maybe there won't be a waiting period. But the reality is that there's no lender out there who will accept somebody less than 3 years. So 3 years is the minimum time. Well, let's think backwards. It's 2012, so that's 2009. Well, most of this started really getting nasty around 2007 and 8. So we're 3 to 5 years now out. So we're seeing these people coming back around, and that's generally for a short sale. A foreclosure can be a little longer. And it can push you to 5 to 7 years on a true foreclosure, but we're starting to see these people come back in the market, and I contend that we have to have them come back in the market.
Definitely.
And we need them to come back in and start buying again. But the problem is we need people to start selling. We need people to be able to sell their houses and move on. And you're starting now to see, we mentioned this before, that the new home construction's picking up slowly and faster than slowly, picking back up because they're trying to absorb some of this market if they can.
There's another concern out there at a meeting I was at this week where they're concerned about, they think 2013 in the builder market is going to be very good. The challenge is going to be 2014 because nobody's going to have any properties to build.
Oh, and you land.
They can't get Folsom going quick enough. They can't get some of the outer Roseville areas going quick enough. So they're all set up saying, yeah, we have all this. We're going to sell these houses 2012, 13, 14. They're like, we don't know what we're going to do.
Is that because they don't own any land, or because they can't get it entitled fast
enough?
Well, then they're going to have to reach out to. I mean, where does a city and a county really make their money? I mean, it's in the fees. It's in the fees of developer fees. It's in the fees of building permit fees. It's in all that money. And so you're going to see the cities and counties that I think they're going to have to look at themselves and say, hey, wait. We finally have a way to get some revenue back in here again. We better figure out a streamlined process to get these things approved quick, or we're going to miss out on another window. So I think you'll see some of the cities and counties will maybe try to get their hands on that money because they're not going to get into the 410.
Yeah, I agree. And some of them, it's just also that the properties they own, they really need the values of housing to go up.
So they can afford to.
Yeah, so they can afford to put the price tag on it and make a nickel.
Yeah, so we'll talk. And I got a couple of little things. I saw an interesting article this week about the Natomas area, and I don't know if anybody else caught this, but actually an appraiser brought it up to me, and I'll talk about this some more next week too. But the Natomas area right now, a good part of it is under the floodplain area, and they're not allowing new construction out there. That's another area that's been hurt. They're trying to resolve that issue so they can build out there. But one of the problems is if you have an existing house out there that's damaged more than 50%. You may not be able to rebuild it. Yeah, so they're trying to resolve that also. That could have some effect on the Natomas area too. Hopefully they'll get that resolved pretty quick. So lots of things. We can cover those some more next week. Have a good time up at Tacoma. Report back next week. Let us know how that goes.
Yeah. You're going to go play in the mud some more?
I'm going to go see if I can find any of my D6 cat and get it out of the mud and we got to get in this house. We got to get this project done here. I'm tired of living apartment living. It's not going well for me.
Your wife said you could stay.
I know, she said I could stay. Yeah, that's funny how they volunteer for me to stay there. You can find us during the week. Our Facebook page is there is a Talkin' Money Facebook page, and we generally post every show there if Chris remembers to send it to me, and we'll get it posted there for you as well. And you can find me at jefftarbell.com. That's John Ferrero. I'm Jeff Tarbell. We're from Comstock Mortgage, and we'll see you next Saturday, everybody. Have a great weekend. Be safe, and let's pray for some snow. Please pray for some snow. We'll see you, everybody. Aloha.
Talkin' Money.